What's up, guys? So I wanted to jump on here and so I want to start doing some more videos and kind of share what I've been doing lately. And wanted to share how I bought a house with virtually $0 out of pocket, um, and where I get paid. I get paid basically get paid to buy the house, and also I get cash flow each month from this house. So let's kind of dive in. Um, so this house is located in Dallas, Georgia. Address is 680 Riverwood Drive, Dallas. As you can see, it's a pretty nice house. Normally when I buy houses, you guys see a lot of times I flip a lot of properties. So I'm fixing fixing to flip in. I'm spending 30, 40, 60, $70,000 to renovate a house. But this one, it was in really good condition, and didn't have to do a whole lot. Me and my brother cut the grass a few times and did a few little things, but replaced the batteries and smoke detectors and stuff. But yeah, so I bought this house subject to. If you don't know what subject to is, it's where you take over the mortgage payments on a property. So I took over the mortgage payment, and so the buying subject to the mortgage note, and the mortgage stays in the seller's name. But I take over the payments, and the deed or the title goes into my name, or my business name. So you might be asking, why the heck would somebody let a buyer take over the mortgage payments? Well, this particular seller had some financial stuff going on. They were behind on the mortgage payments a few months. They had a first and second mortgage, so they had a second mortgage loan on it, home equity loan on it. So they were behind on that as well. Had a lot of credit card debt racked up. So they needed to kind of get out from under the house. And this house didn't really have a bunch of equity in the house because the seller had only owned it for about 3 years, and she had a second mortgage on the house, so she already kind of had pulled out that money. So instead of selling the house traditionally, with an agent and on the market, you know, didn't really work for her because one, she didn't have a whole lot of equity. She might have been writing a check if she sold it, kind of the traditional way. Then it was also taking too long. I mean, when you sell a house on the market, it might take, it's probably minimum of 30 days. Sometimes maybe 3 weeks, but it's going to probably take 30 days. By the time it gets under contract. So when you list a house, it might take 30 days, 60 days to get under contract, then another 30 days for the buyer to get through their inspections, due diligence, appraisals, financing, all that stuff. So another 30 days, could be 45 days to, after it gets under contract to sell. So you're looking at, could be 2 to 4 months before, you get your mortgage paid off, you get a payday or you get out from under your mortgage. So I was able to offer, to take over the mortgage payments and also close, super fast. We closed within a week. So I was able to help her out. But let's kind of dive into the numbers here and how got paid to buy this house basically, and I'm getting cash flow every month. So let's kind of dive in. The mortgage balance, the first mortgage balance on this house is $312,000 with a 3.5% interest rate, which is really awesome. We saw everybody has one of these got their low interest rates or refinanced a couple years ago, but those are long gone. And they had a $48,000 mortgage balance for their home equity loan that they had. Interest rate on this one is not so great, but it's on a 20-year note, and its payments are $646. So my payments on this house for principal and interest are $2,000. When you include tax and insurance, they're about in HOA is about $2,800. So it cost me about $11,000 to kind of buy the property. So it cost me about $7,000 to get the mortgage, both mortgages caught back up. They were behind a few months. Walk away, I gave the seller $1,500 kind of walk away. I try to give a walk away if I can, if it makes sense, so they have a little bit of money out of pocket when they move out. So for moving cost or whatever they need. Closing costs, it cost me about $3,000 to close in a trust. I can go over why I close my subject to transactions in a trust on a later video, but just know that it cost me about $3,000 close. So it cost me about $11,000 to buy the property. But you might be saying, well, I thought you bought this house for $0 and out of pocket, $0 out of pocket. So I got a loan from a private lender for $11,500, and I'm going to pay them back with interest and pay the principal back, obviously. I'm going to reimburse them. So that's how I purchased the property, kind of with $0 out of pocket. But it did cost me $11,000. So if you ever hear somebody talking about how they bought a house for $0, it's going to cost you a little bit of money to buy a house most of the time, unless they're writing a check to you. But it's going to at least cost you closing cost. But that doesn't happen very often. You're probably going to be catching the mortgage back up or giving the seller more walk away than $1,500. Then you have closing costs. So a lot of subject to transactions, you're going to be paying $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to buy the property to take over that really good interest rate, most likely. But if you get a private lender to fund that upfront cost, then it's kind of $0 out of your pocket. So that's on the purchase side and on the buying side. So on the selling side, so I had the plan of back up. So the mortgage payment on this thing is $2,800, taxes and insurance, HOA, all included. So this really wouldn't work as a long-term rental. I could maybe rent it out for $3,000 a month, but by the time you factor in property management and maintenance and all that stuff, I'd probably be writing a check every year to own this house, even though it is really nice and probably not a whole lot of maintenance going on. There's always something breaking on houses. Everybody knows that. But so I sold this house on owner financing. So I sold this house to a couple that traditionally wouldn't really qualify for a bank loan. At least today, they didn't have the track record for their income to qualify for a loan. So this couple, they worked at a restaurant. One guy's a chef and she's an assistant manager. So they made plenty of money to purchase the home. They had money in the bank for a down payment. So they kind of met my qualifications to purchase this property. So sold it for $430, and the market value of the house is probably around there, $420, $415. It could be $430. So it's pretty close to the market value, but typical on owner-financed homes, I sell a little bit higher than market value. But this one's probably pretty close on this price point. It's hard to find owner-financed buyers. A lot of times they're looking at maybe in the $200,000 or $300,000 range in this type of monthly payment. So on this price point, I try to having it at market value kind of makes sense. So they gave me a $20,000 down payment for owner financing, and the purchase price was $430. So that means they have a $410,000 mortgage balance at a 7% interest rate. So their principal and interest payment is like $27,000, and the monthly payments is around, I think, $3,500 a month with taxes, insurance, and the HOA payment. So I'm getting $20,000 down, and that'll be enough to pay off my private lender, and also put $8,000 into my pocket. Selling costs, like sometimes I'll use an agent to sell these, put it on the market. This makes it a little bit easier. But on this one, I found these buyers from Facebook Marketplace, and I probably spent about $500 advertising on Facebook to find these buyers. Sometimes a little bit more, a little bit less on Facebook as far as advertising goes to find buyers. This is approximately about how much I paid. So basically get $8,000 in my pocket to buy this house and sell it to some buyers. In reality, I also spent money in marketing to acquire the house. So I found that this seller via pay-per-click, so PPC, Google AdWords. I found them that way. So I probably spent between $2,500 and $5,000 in marketing to find the seller. That marketing also included a couple other deals as well. So not totally free to find this type of property and cash flow, and but a little bit of work, or a lot of work to find it, and a lot of upfront cost. So cash flow, I'm making $700 a month cash flow. So difference between the principal and interest of my owner finance payment and my mortgage payment that I have. And you can see my note balance. So I created $50,000 in equity. And that's the difference between the mortgage on the owner finance and the note of the first and second of what I have here. So I made a good bit of equity on this transaction, and this will probably keep going. This will keep going up actually if as the sellers keep paying their mortgage down, and when I make my payments, my mortgage is going to go down faster than theirs will, because my overall interest rate, I don't know what that is, but since I have a 3% interest rate on the first mortgage, the principal is going to go down a lot faster. So this will keep getting bigger. The sum will keep getting bigger. So whenever they sell the property or refinance, I'll get a check for at least $50,000. And I could even pay the second off early if I wanted to, or pay it down faster. I'd have a bigger note, and I would have a much bigger cash flow per month. So that'd be really nice. But in a nutshell, that is how I bought a house with $0 and got paid to buy this property. If anybody has any questions or kind of wants to dive deeper, feel free to jump on a call with me. My number is 770-330-5269. And just hit me up on Facebook or social media. I'd love to help out any way I can. Thanks.